Feeling lonely and isolated can be really hard on you. On some level, you know that you need to reach out to people to feel better. But when you're stuck in that dark place, it's really easy to withdraw and shut down. In this video, I'm going to offer you some tips so you can deal with that loneliness and actually find ways to reach out to people. And we're starting right now. Hey everyone, it's Harry Chediar here. I'm a trained therapist and an emotional intelligence coach, helping people have a better relationship with themselves and others. If you're new to this channel, remember to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified as I release new videos. Now, let's jump right into it. When it comes to loneliness, many people deal with it, but not a lot of people want to really talk about it because it's a vulnerable experience. And the truth is, sometimes people don't even tune into it until later on. For example, some people might think social media, they're actually interacting closely with people, but the truth is, it doesn't really meet our deep needs for connection, that one-to-one, face-to-face connection. And even in relationships, sometimes people that are in relationships, they can themselves be feeling lonely in the relationship because they might be feeling disconnected from their partner. See, as human beings, we're all hardwired for connection. And if we don't have our connection needs met, over time, it can have some serious mental and physical health consequences. When you're feeling lonely, you might start to have some questions that come up within you. Like, why aren't people wanting to hang out with me? Why aren't people reaching out to me? When you don't really have answers, your mind might start to fill in the blanks. This is when your inner voice can get activated. That inner voice can be highly critical. This is when you might start to say to yourself, I'm not good enough, or people don't like me. It starts to feel personal. What this does is that it chips away at your sense of self-worth and self-esteem. This can have some paralyzing effects. You might start to experience some depressive symptoms coming on. You can start to feel heavy, you might be shutting down, and it becomes this negative feedback loop. So what ends up happening is you're feeling lonely, you have all of these thoughts that are coming on, but then you withdraw further and you feel more lonely. By the end of this video, you're going to leave with some practical tips that you can use on a day-to-day basis so that you can actually break out of this negative feedback loop. Alright, so here's my tip number 1. Observe and notice your inner voice. Over time, what's going to happen is you're going to pick up a pattern in some of these thoughts. You'll start to recognize when you're saying to yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not popular enough, or you're asking yourself these questions, what's wrong with me? Why don't people like me? Then you know that that vulnerable part of you is activated at that time. Usually, this comes with some sensations too in your body. When it comes to loneliness and isolation, chances are you'll probably be feeling sad. Pay attention to your sensations. It can be a little bit different, but what I've noticed is when it comes to sadness, it usually comes on heavy. It might almost feel like your body wants to shut down. This is when you start to feel some of those depressive symptoms. Now, if that's the case, try and give it some space. Don't try to fight it. If you need to rest, then put some parameters around it. You might want to rest for like half an hour and you put an alarm on, and then after that you try and get back up. Now when you get back up, it's really important how you respond to yourself. If you're going to be highly critical and judging yourself, then you're going to go back into that negative feedback loop. This brings me to tip number 2. Gently challenge those thoughts, but take a compassionate stance. That's really important, because judgment fuels the fire. That's what you don't want. You want to have a better relationship with yourself. When you're noticing the pattern in those thoughts and you start to say to yourself, I'm not good enough, and it starts to feel personal, it feels like it's about you, gently challenge those thoughts with some alternative thoughts. Maybe there are other reasons why people haven't reached out. Maybe they're caught up in their lives. Maybe they have things going on. See, when this vulnerable part of you gets activated, it comes with its own narrative, a story that's been built up about yourself over the years. And in this story, you're not good enough. See, this is where that self-worth was chipped away at. And each time you challenge this in a gentle way, you're going to reshape your narrative. You're going to change that story. And what you're doing in the process is you're stopping that chipping away of your self-worth, and you can work towards actually building up your self-worth, your self-esteem. All right, tip number 3. Reach out and offer something to people that you care about. Now, I know this is going to be hard when you're stuck in that negative feedback loop, but if you take it step by step and build some momentum, you can do this. And this will help rebuild some of your self-worth and self-esteem. Start by reaching out to someone that you feel comfortable with. Maybe it's a close friend or a family member, and it doesn't feel as vulnerable. And then you can gradually build up from there. As you're reaching out to people, it's going to feel scary because that narrative is going to get activated. And as you're trying to change that story, you want to expose yourself to this anxiety gradually. When you're reaching out, think about what you can offer to people. Giving and helping people has a positive impact on your sense of self-worth and esteem. Hey, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I want you to remember that loneliness and isolation is a temporary experience. You will get through this. If you found this video helpful, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. It'll help me grow my channel and get my content out there to more people. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Oh, and one more thing. This is not a replacement to counseling. Every situation is unique. Although these strategies and tips may be helpful, if you think you need to access counseling, please reach out to a local counselor in your area.